Namaste and welcome once again to another round of Dekho Apna Desh webinar series. And this time we have a series of 3 coming up for you viewers. And October 1st marks an incredible journey of an incredible man who is part of Incredible India. I'm sure all of you know who we are talking about. The tall figure of Mahatma Gandhi. Why do I say tall? To somebody who was just 5 feet 5 inches, 1.64 meters only. Born on 2nd October, and the legacy lives the way it does. And that's why we call him not only just father of the nation, but in so many ways, Gandhi is a part of our life. And it's a philosophy, it's a thought. And therefore, doing one webinar on 2nd of October, we would certainly have not been able to do justice to the so many dimensions that this human brought to the Indian landscape. And I don't say the political landscape, because that would be narrowing Gandhi and the vision of Gandhi into something that is very, very related to the Indian national movement. We don't call him father of the nation for nothing. It is his relevance, in fact, even today, as we take India forward in 2020, that is critical. And that's why we are going to bring you very different vignettes of Gandhi as we move through Gandhi's years in Mumbai today. I'm going to tell you who's going to bring that to us a little later. But before we do more of talking, let's quickly go and see a movie on Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you, team NEGD. That was a poignant kind of a movie, and we bow, in fact, our head to somebody who, born like any of us, a regular, normal human, but took himself to scale such heights in terms of contributing to humanity. And thereby lies a lesson, I think, for all of us that you could just be a regular, normal person. You could study to be a lawyer. And yet, inside you is so much force and so much thought and energy. It just needs to be channelized. It just needs to be brought out. Well, taking us through the journey of Mahatma Gandhi in his Bombay years is none other than Sandhya Mehta ji. Sandhya ji, welcome with us in Dekho Apna Desh series today.
Thank you.
And Sandhya, for people who have been associated with Mani Bhavan and with history of Gandhi, you're all aware of who she is. However, for those who don't know her, I want to share with you that she did her history from the College of Jesus and Mary in Delhi. And then she got married. And then she moved from one big city of India, the capital city of India, to the maximum city of India, which was then Bombay. And now it is known as Mumbai. But whichever way you look at it, I think it's a vibrant city. It's a wonderful city. And we were having this discussion as to which of the two cities she's more closer to. Both, she said. And that's, I think, the wonderful part of being in India. I think there is so much splendor and so much beauty in each of our cities. And they're so warm and affectionate, all our cities, that they just own you up. Well, Sandhya has, to her credit, 2 large books and, of course, extensive writing on Gandhiji away from these 2 books, Gandhiji on Religious Conversion and Gandhi in Bombay. So she therefore was the most appropriate resource when we were bringing to you Gandhi in his Bombay years. I'm not going to tell you what all he got back as a person from Bombay and what he gave to Bombay and what he crafted and created in his Bombay years, because that's exactly what Sandhya ji is going to do. We are going to pepper the talk with a few questions here and there. Viewers, we encourage you also to send us some queries which we can pose to somebody who is so well read and has researched so much on Mahatma Gandhi. In the meantime, please enjoy the Bombay years of Gandhi, and I'm sure there will be a takeaway for all of us. Welcome once again, Sandhya ji.
Thank you, Ms. Brar. Before I start, I thank Ministry of Tourism, Government of India for inviting me to participate in Dekho Apna Desh webinar series. The year 2020 is important because it will be marking the end of Mahatma Gandhi's 150 years of birth celebrations. On this eventful year, it is my pleasure to talk to you on Mahatma Gandhi and his relationship with Bombay, the city he fondly refers as Bombay the Beautiful. Before I start, let me clarify that I will be calling Mumbai Bombay as it was then known. Gandhi's connection with Bombay city dates back to much before 1915, but it was of a different nature. He first came to Bombay in September 1888 to board a ship SS Clyde to pursue his studies to go to London. In 1893, he went to South Africa to join the offices of Dada Abdullah. Gandhi returned to India in 1901. He started legal practices in Bombay. He took chambers in Payne's Gilbert Sayani offices in Fort opposite Bombay High Court. Now, in this talk, I will be mentioning the names of the places, so probably you can relate with Bombay city at that time. He rented a portion of bungalow in Girgam Back Road to stay with his family. And during this time, his second son, Manilal, fell ill. So Gandhi decided to shift to a better ventilated house in Santa Cruz. And to reach his office in Fountain, he would daily commute by train, local train to Churchgate. Again, within a year, he was urgently called back to South Africa. And in South Africa, he made a resolve to fight for the injustice suffered by Indians there. Through his non-violence protest, which were termed as passive resistance and later known as Satyagraha. By 1914, Gandhi felt that his mission in South Africa is over, it's fulfilled, so he decided to return to India. By this time, Gandhi had already become famous in India. The people were aware of his achievements in South Africa. They had heard that and read about his unusual ways of protest. So when Gandhi landed in Bombay by steamer SS Arabia on cold morning of January 9th, 1915, with his wife Kasturba and children, he was given a hero's welcome. His landing took place at Apollo Bandar by the permission of authorities. Those days, only royalties, viceroys, distinguished people were permitted to disembark at Apollo Bandar. At the pier, warm welcome was given to both of them. J.B. Patit, Narottam Murarji, V.G. Horniman, and Gandhi's host in Bombay, Reva Shankar Zaveri, had come to receive him. Gandhi too was all along the route, the large crowd had gathered to welcome Gandhi and Kasturba. Gandhi too was happy to be back home. He wrote to his nephew Magan Lal, "I was filled with joy when nearing Bombay. I sighted the coast." On his arrival...
Sandhya ji, I'm just going to interrupt you for a minute because I need to tell the technical team to make you full screen. Team NEGD, can we have the speaker full screen, please? Let's not have her in a small window. Can somebody help her to go full screen? We need to see her better. Priya, could you respond? There seems to be some lack of communication. Anyways, please, sorry, carry on. I'll tell them from the back end, I think.
Yes, okay. On his arrival in India, Gandhi took to wearing Indian Kathiawadi dress of turban, cloak, and dhoti. And from this time onwards, the relationship with Gandhi and the people of Bombay were forged. Now, can we have this slide, please?
Sumega, I think you need to assist. Yeah, thank you.
This is the picture. When he returned to India in 1915 in Bombay, within a week's time, a series of receptions were held in Bombay to welcome Gandhi. One such grand reception was held at J.P. Patit's house at Pedder Road to welcome Gandhi. This is the picture of a reception held at J.B. Patit's house at Pedder Road. Over 600 people had been invited to the reception. Most distinguished among them were Firozshah Mehta, Sir Richard Lamb, Sir Claude Hill, both senior executive members of the Executive Council of Bombay, Dorab Tata, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and Sir Dinshaw Bacha. Sir Firozshah Mehta presided over the meeting. Introducing Gandhi, he said, "There is no need to give introduction of Gandhi. The whole country has heard the tales of his great deeds, his courage, his sufferings for the cause of Indians in South Africa." Can I have the next slide, please, Sumeda? Can I have the next slide? Yes, this is the picture of a meeting held at Shantaram Chowk. This was an open place. It is in Girgaon area right now. At a War Council meeting was held on June 10, 1918. Lord Willingdon stopped Tilak and Kelkar to speak on resolutions. To protest against Lord Willingdon's provocative statement toward Indian leaders, anti-Willingdon rally was held on 16th June. The procession started from Chowpatty, went through Girgaon Back Road, Bhuleshwar, Princess Street, Kalba Devi, and to final destination of Shantaram Chowk, where a public meeting was organized. The main speakers at the meeting were Gandhi, Tilak, Jinnah, and M.V. Welkar. The place was filled with people to hear the leaders speak. It was so crowded, it was overfilling the area, the compound. Can we have the next slide, please? This is the advertisement which was put up on Bombay Chronicle for the Black Sunday demonstration against the Black Act. 1919 was very important year in the history of Gandhi and Bombay. This was the first all India level protest against Rowlatt Bills, Jallianwala Bagh tragedy. In February 1919, Rowlatt Bill was passed by Imperial Legislative Council in London, which curbed the liberties of Indians, which meant government can arrest any person without a trial suspected to have anti-British activities and have strict control over the press. Gandhi felt that the bill was a severe blow to the freedom and rights of individuals. He called the nationwide satyagraha against Rowlatt Act, or Black Act, it was known in India. So on the Black Sunday, Gandhi gave a call that 6th April 1919 should be observed as Satyagraha Day against the Rowlatt Act in Bombay. It was known as the Black Sunday. Gandhi urged people to keep fast and take pledge of civil disobedience. Now let me describe the scene in Bombay city on 6th April, on the Black Sunday day. At Chowpatty, long before the sunrise, people had gathered to bathe in the sea and they offered their prayers. Gandhi was one of the first to arrive in Chowpatty with several other volunteers. As the day advanced, many more people joined him. Gandhi was accompanied by Sarojini Naidu, Jamna Das, Dwarka Das, Horniman, and others. As Gandhi was unwell, his speech was read by Jamna Das, Dwarka Das. Gandhi urged the people to take a Swadeshi vow. Another meeting was arranged in an open space in front of Grant Road Mosque. Gandhi appealed to the people to join Satyagraha and express that Hindus and Muslims should treat each other like brothers. And to start civil disobedience, number of copies of proscribed books were printed for sale. On the evening of 6th April, at the end of the day's fast, Sarojini Naidu, Gandhi, and Gandhiji went out in their cars to sell proscribed literature near Opera House. Soon, all the copies were sold out. The proceeds of the sale were used for furthering the civil disobedience campaign. Can I have the next slide, please? Yes. This is the image of Satyagrahi the newspaper published by Bombay. On 7th April, after Black Sunday, Gandhi published a newspaper Satyagrahi in defiance against the Indian Press Act. It was published from Mani Bhavan. The paper was the size of half a sheet. The editor was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and address was Lebanon Road, Gamdevi, Bombay. The price of the paper was 1 paise, and Gandhi, being Gandhi, he sent a copy of this newspaper to Police Commissioner of Bombay to notify him that he is defying the Rowlatt Act. Gandhi wanted his paper to reach to as many people as possible, so he asked them to read and circulate amongst the friends. The enthusiastic support from the people of Bombay made his Hartal a complete success. It was during this stay in Mani Bhavan in 1919, Gandhi took over the publishing of Young India and Navjeevan weeklies in English and Gujarati respectively. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes, this again, the advertisement appeared in the newspaper. The interesting thing is to celebrate the arrest of Mahatma Gandhi. Now, after Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, Gandhi was going to Punjab to meet the people there. As the train reached Palwal, Gandhi was served with a written notice order prohibiting his entry to Delhi and Punjab. He was escorted back to Bombay. Meanwhile, in Bombay, when people came to know of his arrest, Satyagraha Sabha organized a mass meeting in French Bridge and Shantaram Chal to celebrate his arrest. People were, yes, he's defying the act. To celebrate his arrest, people met at the French Bridge in Shantaram Chal. And if you read, the speakers were Sarojini Naidu, Jamna Das Dwarkadas, Jamna Das Mehta. At Shantaram Chal, again Mrs. Naidu was there, Jamna Das Dwarkadas, Dr. Sathe, Mrs. Vittal Jerajani, and Avantika Bai Gokhale. Can we have the next image, please? Gandhi announced the non-cooperation movement on 1st August 1920. The same day, Bal Gangadhar Tilak had died in Bombay. It merged with the observance of fast, Hartal, and the funeral procession of Tilak. Gandhi returned the Kesare Hind Awards, which was given to him by British government for his humanitarian work in South Africa. Bombay also became an important site for Gandhi's propagation of Swadeshi and Khadi work. The first Khadi Bandar in the country was opened by Gandhi in January 1920 in Murarji Gokaldas Market. The Charkha centers were opened in various places like Lalbagh, Khetwadi, Chowpatty, Kalba Devi, etc. Gandhi appealed to the people to wear khadi. Now, this is the poster, the advertisement, which says that Gandhi will be opening the Khadi Bandar, the grand opening ceremony by Mahatma Gandhi on that particular day at 6 p.m. The first pure Khadi institution in India. That's what the advertisement says. We invite all Indians to patronize Indian industry. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. The Tilak Swaraj Fund. Gandhi was fundraiser at his best. Gandhi announced to collect rupees 1 crore by the end of 1921 towards Tilak Swaraj Fund. To collect funds, he personally visited various areas in Bombay like Dadar, Mandvi, Parel, Santa Cruz, Borivali, Ghatkopar, Malad Fort, and Bandra, and Grant Road. This encouraged people to contribute generously towards Tilak Swaraj Fund. The city was single largest contributor. It collected 37.5 lakhs of rupees for the cause. Can I have the next slide, please? Bombay the Beautiful. Gandhi was overwhelmed by the generosity of the people of Bombay. He said, Bombay the Beautiful, not for the big buildings, for most of them hide the squalid poverty and dirt. Not for the wealth, for most of them is derived from the blood of the masses, but for the world-renowned generosity. Later, Bombay also contributed generously for the Harijan Fund and Kasturba Memorial Trust Fund. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes, this is the bonfire of foreign clothes in Bombay. The historic meeting inaugurating the Swadeshi campaign with bonfire of foreign clothes was held at Elphinstone Mills compound in Parel. Elphinstone Mills was owned by Gandhi's supporter and a friend, Omar Sobhani. The bonfire of foreign clothes were held 3 times at Elphinstone Mill compounds. First was on 31st July, the second on 9th October, and third on 17th November 1921. The picture shows the advertisement for the 9th October bonfire, that is the second bonfire. The large crowd had gathered at Elphinstone Mill grounds to participate in great bonfire. The people were requested to attend the meeting dressed in khadi clothes. The Congress leaders Sarojini Naidu, Lala Lajpat Rai, Maulana Azad, Omar Sobhani, Rajendra Prasad, who were already in the city to attend Congress working committee meeting, were also attended the bonfire at Elphinstone Mill. Sarojini Naidu presided over the meeting. In the middle of the compound, a platform was erected where the leaders were sitting, and near the platform was the pile of expensive foreign-made silk and woolen clothes. They were soaked in kerosene, mixed with crackers to be lit. Gandhi praised the spirit of Bombay by saying, Bombay has laid the foundation for Swadeshi. The women of Bombay are awake. Where shall we find women as advanced as in Bombay? Swadeshi movement can make no progress without their support. So profound was his call for Swadesh, for khadi, that earlier in the day, Gandhi, along with Sarojini Naidu and Lala Lajpat Rai, attended a marriage ceremony of a Parsi couple at Kamabagh, where the bride, the groom, and the guest were all dressed in khadi. Can we have the next slide, please? Gandhi's Salt March in 1930 evoked the spontaneous and enthusiastic response from the people of Bombay. Congress volunteers brought the sea water, lightened the sigri to boil the water and make their own salt. Chopati, Vadala, Vileparla became the centers to make the salt. The women of Bombay responded to Gandhi's call by picketing the shops that were selling foreign clothes in Mangaldas Market, Murji Detha Market, Cherni Road, Bhuleshwar, Girgam, Gamdevi, and Thakurdwar. They manufactured and sold the contraband salt, organized Prabhat Fairies, protest marches, and promoted khadi and Swadeshi. Women like Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, Avantika Bai Gokhale, Perrine Captain, Leelavati Munshi, Hansa Mehta, and Ratanben Mehta were in the forefront. Here is a picture of about 5,000 women dressed in orange saris marching from Chopati to Azad Maidan to defy the decision of the government to declare Desh Sevika Sangh as an illegal organization. During this time, Prabhat Fairies became popular in the city. Small group of people paraded the city in the morning singing patriotic songs, and people from all the communities joined them. Can we have the next slide? Here is the rare picture of Gandhi ji with Jawaharlal Nehru and Kamla Nehru on the balcony of Mani Bhavan. Prabhat Fairies were being carried out since morning of June 10, 1931. Congress Working Committee was also being held at Mani Bhavan at that time. When the procession reached Mani Bhavan, people recited national songs. Gandhi came out in the balcony of Mani Bhavan. He addressed the gathering from the balcony, while Jawaharlal Nehru, Kamla Nehru, and other leaders watched the procession from the gallery. Can we have the next slide, please? This is the newspaper report appeared in the Bombay Chronicle, Mani Bhavan in London. That's an interesting story. On June 9, 1931, Congress Working Committee met at Mani Bhavan. It was attended by Sardar Patel, Nehru, Gandhi, Sarojini Naidu, Rajendra Prasad, Pandit Madan Mohan Malavya, and Pittabhi Sitaramaiah. CWC decided the Gandhi should represent for the roundtable conference in London. On 29th August 1931, Gandhi sailed to London by SS Rajputana to attend second roundtable conference. Massive crowds had gathered to see him at Belakpia. Mahadev Desai, Gandhi's secretary, who used to write his daily diary, had accompanied him to London. And from London, he continued to write his diary. So Bombay Chronicle gave an apt headline, Mani Bhavan in London. Can we have the next slide, please? On December 28, 1931, Gandhi returned from London. From 6 a.m. onwards, the route from Lebanon Road to Belakpia was lined with people to welcome Gandhi. Gandhi returned home frustrated because roundtable conference was not successful. He expressed his anguish in a letter to Rabindranath Tagore from Mani Bhavan. He writes, "I'm stretching my tired limbs on mattress as I try to steal a wink of sleep." Early morning of 4th January 1932, Gandhi was arrested from the balcony of, from the terrace of Mani Bhavan. Can we have the next slide, please? On 7th and 8th August of 1942, historic session of AICC was held at Gowala Tank Maidan, now August Kranti Maidan, in Bombay under the presidency of Abul Kalam Azad. The session was attended by all prominent leaders of India. AICC passed a resolution which came to be known as Quit India Resolution. Gandhi in a speech said, "Here is a mantra, a short one. The mantra is do or die. Karenge ya marenge. We shall either free India or die in an attempt." In the early morning of 9th August, Gandhi, Patel, Nehru, and Azad were arrested. The news of arrest of leaders resulted in mass hartals. Riots erupted in the city. The attempts were made to set railway station and post offices on fire. Government issued an order banning public meetings and processions in the city. Despite the government orders, large crowd had gathered at Gowala Tank, and young, vibrant Aruna Asaf Ali hoisted the flag. Lathi charge and tear gas was followed to dispel the crowd. Students from various colleges of Bombay were active during the movement. The highlight of the Quit India movement in Bombay was the underground Congress radio operated by young student Usha Mehta and her team that gave updates of national and international news. Can we have the same? Can we go back to the old, yes. The people of Bombay violently protested in the city when Gandhi and other leaders were arrested in 1942. Bombay became not only the venue for AICC session, but also became important where mass protests were held. Railway property was damaged at Dadar, Matunga, Parel, Marine Lines stations. Firings were reported from several parts of the city. Disorderly crowds threw stones and soda water bottles at trams, buses, and cars. Street lamps were destroyed or damaged. Telephone wires were cut. Several police chowkis were burnt. And electric wire boxes of VEST were also burnt. Unauthorized Congress bulletins were distributed. The first bomb burst in the city was reported in September. Can we have the next slide? Yes. The women of Bombay actively participated in the political activities. This is the procession carried out by women volunteers in the city on September 11, 1942, which was also called the Stri Shakti Din in honor of these brave women. Can we have the next slide, please?
Excuse me, I'm just intervening in between.
Yes. Yes.
Team NGD, can you please increase the volume of the audio, because we are getting the feedback that audio is little on a loud.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. No, for you, for NGD team.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We can go ahead.
I can go ahead. Okay. In 1944, Gandhi made an effort to solve communal problem through talks and negotiation with Muhammad Ali Jinnah. The famous Gandhi Jinnah talks of September 1944 was held at Jinnah House at Mount Pleasant Road, Malabar Hill. Gandhi too was staying in the same street at Birla House at Malabar Hill. The talk started on 9 September, and since early morning, the entire Malabar Hill area was protected by police. The talks, which lasted for 18 days, were the news of the day. Everyone was eager to know the outcome of these talks. The reporters, war correspondents, foreign journalists, mind you, the Second World War was going on at that time. So the foreign war correspondents were in the city, stationed in the city. Movie cameramen were all stationed outside Jinnah House to cover the news, cover the outcome of the talks. However, amidst the serious political scenario, there were lighter moments as well. The media and the people waiting outside Jinnah House were also speculating or betting on the outcome of these talks. Odds to the success of the talks were 4-1. Unfortunately, the talks did not yield any results. Here, the picture shows Gandhi and Jinnah talking to the journalists in the veranda of the Jinnah House. The journalists are surrounding, and after the talk, they all used to have a press conference. So they both are talking to the journalist here. Can we have the next slide, please? On 30th January 1948, Gandhiji was assassinated in Delhi. In Bombay, an urn carrying Gandhiji's ashes was kept in town hall for the people to pay last homage to their respected leader. On 12 February, more than 5 lakhs of people formed a procession for the immersion of Gandhi's ashes in the Arabian Sea at Chowpatty. This is the picture of a Chowpatty, and see how large the crowd had gathered to pay last respect to their beloved leader. The large crowd had gathered there. They were singing Gandhi's favorite bhajans, reciting prayers from Gita, Quran, and Zain Avesta. All the restaurants, cinema halls, and places of entertainments were closed that day. Bombay always remained an important city for Gandhi throughout his life. It was here that his activities got encouraging response. Bombay Municipal Corporation had honored him twice by presenting him an address, one in 1924 and other in 1931. It was in Bombay that Gandhi devised various political strategies and found many trusted colleagues and followers. Gandhi got huge support from women, students, cotton merchants, grain merchants, and shopkeepers. The halls and open places like Congress House, Shantaram Chal, Muraji Gokuldas Hall, Royal Opera House, Chowpatty, Juhu Beach, Azad Maidan, French Bridge were effortlessly converted into the sites for huge meetings. All these places became alive with processions, meetings, picketing, Prabhat Fairies to display nationalism and challenge the British colonial rule. To conclude, it brings us to Mani Bhavan, the place hallowed by Mahatma Gandhi's presence. Mani Bhavan treasures memories of Mahatma Gandhi's association in Bombay. It is the modest two-storied building on Laburnum Road in Gamdevi area. The house belongs to Gandhi's friend Reva Shankar Zaveri, and Gandhi stayed here whenever he visited Bombay during the years 1917 to 1934. It was here that Gandhi first learned carding and spinning, and he first started taking goat milk. Mani Bhavan was the nerve center of Gandhi's political meetings and activities for those 17 eventful years. So indeed, as Gandhi's always, his nickname for the Bombay was Bombay the Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sandhya Mehta. It was really an amazing journey going back in the history and kind of retracing the life of Gandhi in Bombay. In fact, for me, living in Bombay, when I heard so many places that you have mentioned, it really kind of provokes a sense of feeling to just go and revisit them and see how it would have been felt during that time. In fact, Gandhiji lives in our lives and he'll also live in the lives of generations to come. And in fact, we can improve ourselves and the whole world by reading, knowing, and understanding his philosophy and his ideology. We really kind of appreciate your time and taking us in depth through the life of Gandhi in Bombay. As a tourism side also, if you look at Mani Bhavan is one of the important places of visit for any tourist itineraries, be it
Yes.
A domestic traveler or a foreign traveler. So would you like to tell when did Gandhi visit last to Mani Bhavan?
Gandhi visited last sometime in 1934. After that, because Mani Bhavan became very small, it was the place where he used to have the meetings, and it was all the national leaders were coming, the people would come to meet him. So he moved to, later on, whenever he would visit, it was in Birla House, but till 1934, he stayed in Mani Bhavan. Okay.
And we of course know that at this point, Mani Bhavan is closed for visitors, and we are kind of hopeful.
Yes.
When things open up and when it is fine, it will be again a place of pilgrimage for many of those who kind of believe in his philosophy and who still want to kind of look up what is.
I must add here that though we are closed because of pandemic, but the regular maintenance is being carried on there to keep the place hygienic and clean. So once when we open, it is ready for the public.
Yeah. Ms. Mehta, maybe you can briefly tell us what are the highlights of Mani Bhavan Sangrahalaya, maybe for those who have not been there, and it will be a kind of a great thing to know something that they can look up. That is one thing for the layman and the visitor. And somebody
Yes.
who is deeply involved in Gandhi's philosophy or researchers, what does Mani Bhavan offer? Just for the knowledge of the viewers here.
Yes, for the tourist point of view, this is the museum, I would say one of the best museum where people can relate to Gandhi when they see him, how frugally, how with austerity he was living. So they can see his lifestyle there. And we have a large library, which has very, very good collection of books. So researchers can come and study. And for tourists, they can see Gandhi's room and get the vibes of Gandhi from Mani Bhavan. And it's a very centrally located place in the city, very close to Chowpatty. And if the tourists are visiting Fountain or the Churchgate or Gateway of India, it's maybe 5 or 6 kilometers away from that.
Okay, Ms. Mehta, we are also getting questions like Mani Bhavan is one place when tourists are coming and where they can go and see the years that Gandhiji has spent and the places related and the national movement and his role there. But what are the other places if one wants to go on a Gandhi trail in Bombay? What all you suggest?
See, I like the places I mentioned. They can, Gandhi visited Chowpatty of the, importance, of course, is August Kranti Maidan, which is still fun. I mean, they can see. And all other, so many places which I mentioned, some of the places which I mentioned, they are no more. They've been, they've broken down after so many years, dilapidated buildings. But Mani Bhavan, and then we have Gandhi Gram in Juhu where they can visit. And yeah, I can think of that only right now for Gandhi. But Mani Bhavan is the prime important, yes.
You are also mentioning about so many names of freedom fighters like Mrs. Naidu and others who have been associated with Gandhi while I was in Bombay. And do you recollect from your book or any other research, were they also frequenting Mani Bhavan, or was Mani Bhavan also a place of meeting and discussing strategies for Satyagraha?
That is people coming to Mani Bhavan? I couldn't really, I'm sorry, do you mind repeating the question?
No, my question was, you had mentioned about the names of the great freedom
Sarojini
fighters.
Naidu. Huh.
Yeah, Sarojini Naidu and others who are closely associated with all his movements in Bombay.
Yes, yes.
Were they also kind of frequent visitors to Mani Bhavan?
Yes.
Was also Mani Bhavan a meeting place for the nationalists at this point?
Yes, Mani Bhavan, so many times Mani Bhavan hosted Congress Working Committee meetings in Bombay. So majority of the leaders, national leaders, were present in Mani Bhavan. And like I mentioned the names, Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru, Pitabi Sitaramaiah, Abul Kalam Azad, Pandit Madan Mohan Malavya, so many of them, Sarojini Naidu, all of them visited Mani Bhavan. And because of the Congress Working Committee, and to meet Gandhi, they would visit Mani Bhavan. And even now we have so many dignitaries, foreign dignitaries or Indian dignitaries coming and visiting Mani Bhavan and paying respect to Mahatma Gandhi.
Fine. And presently, how is the Mani Bhavan administered? Is it an independent body, or how does it function now?
It is NGO, partly funded by government.
Okay, great. In fact,
I am also, very keen to ask you, Sandhya ji. Of course, you've been working with largely the Bombay years of Gandhi. But if you were to tell a person who is visiting the west of India, and so you are in Bombay and you do Mani Bhavan, what are the other things a person could possibly fit in, the most crucial things, maybe through Gujarat and how to tailor? I think there's something in Pune, if I'm not mistaken, which is also of great historical interest. So could you help us to decide 2-3 places a person might visit as footsteps of Gandhi?
One is of course, Mani Bhavan in Bombay, then Aga Khan Palace in Pune, where Gandhi, after Quit India movement, he was arrested. And he was imprisoned there along with Kasturba and Mahadev Desai, his secretary. And unfortunately, both of them died there. So Aga Khan Palace is also very important. And in Gujarat, I would say Sabarmati Ashram being the prime spot. Then they have the Dandi, during Dandi Kutch, where Gandhi defied the law, and so in Dandi village also there is a museum. I think they can go there, and I think they are having the Gandhi walk from Dandi march from Ahmedabad to Dandi also. The walks they are having. Even in Bombay, they are having the walks of historical places from Mani Bhavan to Blavatsky Lodge, Opera House, the Asiatic Library, that is Town Hall. So those are the important areas where the national movement was, people gathered there, historical areas of importance.
So in terms of, if I was to say the relevance of Gandhi in today's date, in terms of his philosophy, in terms of the person, the way we see ourselves evolving as a country, as a people, what would you say were 3 critical values, if I were to ask you, that you would identify in how Gandhi is contemporary to the modern day India and the modern day world also?
Peace, harmony, and truth. I would say that.
Could you be a little louder?
I would say harmony, no hatreds to each other, the truth, be transparent, and follow Gandhi, not on his pedestal, but otherwise. Don't put him up on the pedestal, but follow his ideology. And his non-violence, respect for other human beings. These are the basic things he always asked for. The hygiene of the people, the discipline of the people,
I think the Swachh Bharat mission that has been taken up by the Honorable Prime Minister, in fact, has Mahatma Gandhi's glasses as the icon that presents it, and that speaks volumes about the kind of priority that Mahatma Ji gave.
Absolutely. In his initial years, when he came from South Africa, and Gokhale advised him to visit India, tour India, and know the rural India before he gets actively interested in politics, he realized that the people are just sitting where they are sitting. If you read his autobiography, and that's what he says, why people don't keep their surroundings clean. That is the basic thing. That is what I want to give a message to the people. Not the high-end ideologies, the basic, the cleanliness. What the Prime Minister Modi is saying, Swachh Bharat Mission. That will have the effect, benefit, health and hygiene of the local people, everybody, So that is the basic thing.
Viewers, at this point, I really want to share with you that in the last 5 or 6 years, in fact, in the World Economic Forum's Tourism Travel Competitiveness Index, India used to be ranked at 64, and now we are being ranked at 34, which is actually a huge quantum jump. And there is significant improvement in number of parameters. However, a lot more needs to be done on Swachh Bharat part of it. Let's, I think, create a sense of pride to each of our environments. And the next time, not only must we not add to the mess, but we should also clean the mess. And on that point, Sandhya, I have 2 more questions. One, which is being asked by Abhishek Das. He's asking that in Maharashtra, one more important place of Gandhiji's life is Wardha. And would you like to tell something about Wardha? And after that, I will ask you a more general question. But first, we'd like to hear from you on Wardha.
Yes. Sorry, I did not mention Wardha, that is Sevagram. Gandhi once in 1930, after Salt March, he did not stay in Sabarmati Ashram, but he moved to Sevagram. And Sevagram is, of course, very important. And that's where he focused. He was staying with his family, moved to with his family there. And again, the leaders would come. He started his Harijan Weekly also from Sevagram. And from there, he was teaching the basics again to the people.
Okay.
And Sevagram is, of course, very, very important. Yes, it's very important. So and after that, Vinoba Bhave ji came and...
Yes. I was going to ask you that. I think that should become a necessary part of the, tour.
Yes, really and it's in the center. That's why Gandhi moved to Sevagram, because it's right in the center of the city. So convenient for everybody to come and meet him, or he could go anywhere. So yes, it's a strategically very important place.
And I think it's preserved very well in the sense that you can actually see the simplicity of the man and how he began, from where he began, and the journey of Gandhi, I think, is a great journey in learning about the sheer potential of a human, which I said in the beginning also, how a single human being, sometimes when we become despondent about something, and sometimes when we become a little pessimistic, कि एक अकेला क्या कर सकता है? I think there is a huge example for all of us in the figure of Mahatma Gandhi, that एक इंसान कितना कुछ कर सकता है. I think that is a huge takeaway from the personality of Gandhi. Well, moving on with some of the questions, someone asked that apart from Mani Bhavan, are there other spots and residences in Bombay? Arun S. has asked us that question. He is mentioning a place somewhere in Juhu where he remembers that there's something with Gandhiji.
Gandhigram, after 1942, when he was released, and earlier also, he would stay in the house, which was on the beach, owned by his friend Morarji Morarji. It was on the beach of Juhu. And so again, wherever Gandhi was staying, every evening he would have prayer meetings. That is the place where people could meet him. He could interact with people. So yes, Juhu Gandhigram is also very, very important place. and where Gandhi used to have public meetings, and he was recuperating there after his 1942 arrest, 1944 release. Yeah.
So tomorrow, Sandhya ji, we are going to be bringing a webinar which is on Khadi and the whole concept of spinning and the whole concept of creating a self-reliant Indian and India. And in fact, in the current times, as we see how the world is unfolding, and when we are looking at post-COVID, how to strengthen our country in the face of the pandemic that has come to create such a huge challenge. So again, it's the Honorable Prime Minister has called the
Swadeshi
clarion call, Atmanirbhar Bharat, right?
Swadeshi. That's Swadeshi. Gandhi's
absolutely.
philosophy of Swadeshi.
So
and let me interrupt you here.
Please do.
Mani Bhavan is conducting Charkha classes free of charge for the people. I have myself learned and I spin Charkha. So, so anybody who would like to learn Charkha and spinning, they are welcome to come to Mani Bhavan from every Monday and Friday. We have the classes from 3 to 4 and all are welcome. Let pandemic be over, and once the Mani Bhavan opens, we'll resume the classes again.
How very wonderful. How long does it take to actually get the product of love, you know, a product of love and labor?
It is, I'm telling you my personal experience, it is a skill. It is a skill. I took long to learn and still I break the thread. I'm amazed at Gandhi's skill. He would spin the charkha while talking or in the meeting without breaking a thread. And he made saris for Kasturba as well.
Oh,
so
how very wonderful.
Yes, of course. And Khadi is so eco-friendly cloth, you know, for the Indian climate.
So all the men who are listening, why don't you head there and spin a beautiful yarn fabric for your loved lady?
Yes.
That would be such, I think that would be the most precious gift that anyone could ever receive. So do go in for classes. I suppose all this information must be on the website of Mani Bhavan?
Yes, we do have a website. I will give you the name, www.gandhi-manibhavan.org. All the information, you can get it there. And underneath the contact, if you have any question or queries, please contact us and we'll be happy to help you.
How very wonderful. So viewers, do log in to the website that Sandhya ji mentioned about. And
tomorrow we are having a nice two Zoom meetings and webinar. You can visit our Twitter handle, Facebook handle, Instagram handle to find the details, get the details.
Okay. And what else is Mani Bhavan doing currently? Do you do any storytelling, any talks that keep happening at Mani Bhavan?
Every year we have a competition for students right from kindergarten to college level. And around 5,000 students participate from July to October. And they do the elocution and recite poems, do the paintings, sing dramatics. All the performing arts are encouraged. And that is how we are seeing, how we interpret the young mind, how they see Gandhi. So that of course is there. And besides that, we have seminars, we have talk shows, and regular group visits, whoever wants to visit Mani Bhavan, yes.
Fantastic. Can you just repeat the website again? There's a request coming in.
Okay. www.gandhi-manibhavan.org. And if you still find it difficult, go to Google, type Mani Bhavan, the first entry will.
Fantastic. So it's as simple as that, viewers. Do log in because there's so much that Mani Bhavan does in terms of not only it being as a part of the history, but in taking history forward, in taking philosophy of Gandhi forward, and continuously reminding us on how relevant. And that's the importance of remembering such tall figures, viewers. Yes. It's not just that we want to play them back into our lives as an ode to what they did, but in terms of the learning that we still have in today's India, in the way we fashion ourselves as Indians, as people, and we take our country forward. As you would have gathered from what all Sandhya ji said today, there are so many values of Gandhi that we still need to push ourselves to remind. Now, again, coming back to a specific question, Neela has asked that, can you tell us a little about the August Kranti Maidan in Mumbai, reference in the Quit India movement of Gandhiji?
Okay. August Kranti Maidan is so close to Mani Bhavan. It's 5 minutes distance. Right now, of course, it is a Maidan, but during Quit India movement, the meeting AICC session was held, and it was filled with people. And after 2 days, of course, when the leaders were arrested, as I mentioned, the Aruna Asaf Ali, despite the government ban orders, Aruna Asaf Ali hoisted a flag there at Gowala Tank Maidan. And that's where, near Gowala Tank Maidan is the building Tejpal Hall. That's where the first Congress meeting, when the A.O. Hume was the president, it was held there.
Okay, so that's the significance, yeah.
Yes, Mumbai, of course, besides the film stars, we have Gandhi, we have such historical places. Please do visit Mumbai, see Mani Bhavan, feel Gandhi, get the vibes of Gandhi. I request all of you to come in.
So important. And I am continuously harping, therefore, viewers, on one of the most crucial, if we see the contributions of Mahatma Gandhi, is the fact that he started the journey alone.
Yes.
But look at the caravan, the kafila that followed him, and how a single person was able to turn sporadic revolts against the British rule in India, sporadic outbursts, protests, a lot was happening. It is not to, and it's a tribute.
He reached the masses. He reached the masses.
Who did what they were doing in so many parts of India at their individual level. But I think the biggest contribution of Mahatma Gandhi was to be able to galvanize everyone together. And that's the power of a single man. And that's the power of a single idea sometimes, on how somebody is sitting somewhere, has that passion that we got to do it. And he's able to, so it's energy which is everywhere. It's individual energy, but how it is galvanized into one huge momentum. I think that's the biggest learning, if I would say.
And in Bombay, he galvanized.
What would you say on that, Sandhya ji?
In Bombay, he galvanized all people from all stratas, the women from affluent families. He told them, finish your work and come and join in your khadi. He asked the students, he asked the common shopkeeper to join his movement, and they were so much influenced by Gandhi's ideology that they followed him. Whatever they said, they were ready to do it. They were very enthusiastic. And Bombay was the largest contributor. Whenever Gandhi needed funds, it was Bombay which was providing the money. And movements do need funds.
So very wonderful to know that the maximum...
Bombay was always, I'm being very passionate here, but Bombay always responded to Gandhi's call. Always, the people of Bombay. And it's not the big business houses.
Yes, so glad that you're mentioning that Bombay is not just a financial capital. Bombay is not just the Bollywood capital, making so much of entertainment and so much of money and wealth that gets created for our country happens in Mumbai. However, the Bombay of the yesteryears and the Mumbai of today has so much of history laced in it. And, so we must visit Bombay, I think, with a different lens, and not forget to go to Mani Bhavan for sure. And there were so many other museums too in Bombay, isn't that, Sandhya ji?
Yes, of course, there is a Chhatrapati Shivaji Vastu Sangrahalaya and other small museum. Then Bahudaji Museum is there. But for the freedom struggle, Mani Bhavan is important. That's
absolutely,
the one. And, when we were doing the research and I was going through the places, we both, Dr. Thakkar and myself, when we were going through the names of the places, oh, this is there. We never realized that this Morarji Gokul Das hall was here. Oh, we never realized Gandhi went there. We never realized Gandhi went to Royal Opera House. The theaters which was there. The one thing was, let me clarify that during British time, sometimes the British didn't allow the large gatherings to happen in open places. So it was restricted to confines of the halls, you know. So Kawasji Jahangir Hall or other halls, you know, and we would be, you know, oh, this was part of Gandhi, and we didn't realize. Every day we pass through those areas. We pass through Kawasji Jahangir Hall, we pass through Asiatic Society, and we don't realize. We pass through Chowpatty so many times, Azad Maidan. We didn't realize that this was the place where Gandhi visited so often.
Yes, and you had mentioned
followed by the people.
I think you had
followed by the people.
You mentioned the Petit Mansion in the beginning. I think it's the school now, right? The JV Petit Girls.
No.
The
JB Petit School is at Fountain. This is JB Petit Mansion is in the Pedder Road, but now no more. The skyscraper has come up. All the bungalows have been, you know, they've down. Instead of that, the skyscrapers have come up.
Okay.
But yes.
So under the skyscrapers lies a lot of history, viewers. So view the skyscrapers also differently, because under the layers of the skyscrapers, the foundations are deep and steeped into history. So I think I'm going to look at the skyscrapers with more respect next time.
Yeah, once upon a time, there was a bungalow where Gandhi visited.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. We are almost at the end of our time today. It's been a wonderful journey of and learning actually not only about Mahatma Gandhi, but also learning about Mumbai in a very different way. And understanding, yes, I think that's been a big learning for many of us who know Bombay in very many other ways. So this is another way to know Bombay. So it's not just about pav bhaji and misal pav and as you know so much else, but it's about so much history. And so much of where we are today, we owe to this maximum city of ours. And it was the fact that Gandhiji has so many footsteps there only makes the city richer, and even more important to us to preserve the city in its true elements of values that Mahatma Gandhi held for all of us and for the world at large. So Sandhya ji, thank you so much for enlightening us. And viewers, on this journey of Mahatma Gandhi, tomorrow we are doing the Charkhe Pe Charcha. She today already mentioned, Sandhya ji has mentioned the value of the charkha and the spinning. Do join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. as we're going to actually spin some yarn for you. And 11 a.m. same time. हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए, बने रहिए, देखते रहिए अपना सुंदर अतुल्य भारत, पर उसके साथ साथ देखिए हमारे सुंदर इंसान लोग जो हमारे देश को बना रहे हैं, जिन्होंने हमारे देश को बनाया है, because they are a part of the journey of this incredible country. So namaste once again, and see you tomorrow 11 a.m. Thank you, Sandhya ji.
Thank you.